Welcome back, my dear students. Now, we are going to discuss something very interesting. In this, we would be starting with the preparations of diazonium salt, chemical reactions of them, and we would be dealing with two reactions, that is Sandmeyer reaction and Gattermann reaction. So let's start with the very first thing, that is preparations of a diazonium salt. As we have already learned, it is prepared by either aliphatic or aromatic primary amines when they are treated with nitrous acid. So let's look at a reaction for this. Suppose we take a reaction in which we have aniline and it is treated with NaNO2 and HCl in a temperature range of 273 to 278 kelvins. Then we get a compound that is HNO2 because of this following reaction. This HNO2, that is nitrous acid, will now act onto the aniline and in presence of excess amount of HCl happens to give us a compound that is nothing but firstly a byproduct of water. How many water molecules were liberated? 2 water molecules. And along with this, we now get a compound that is benzene diazonium chloride or your benzene diazonium salt, wherein nitrogen has a positive charge, chlorine has a negative charge. Let's move further. We have already now formed a benzene diazonium salt. In this case, benzene diazonium chloride. So now, what happens? Let's see the reactions. The reactions are of two types. Reaction of diazonium salts. Firstly, they are either a reaction called as replacement reactions or they are called as coupling reactions. We would first start with the replacement reactions. So now, replacement reactions of diazonium group, again they are of various types. The first one to come is when we would replace it by a chloride, bromide or cyanide groups. Next, wherein the diazonium group is replaced by iodine. Next is by fluorine or fluoride. Next comes is by hydrogen. After this comes OH, and finally we would land up with the nitro groups. So now let's start with replacement of diazonium groups by chlorides, bromides or cyanides. They are taken place into two different ways. Either you would use a cuprous salt or you would use a copper powder. If cuprous salt is used, the reaction is called as Sandmeyer reaction, and if copper powder is used, the reaction is called as Gattermann reaction or Gattermann synthesis. Let's now start with the first reaction, that is Sandmeyer's reaction. So, firstly, in Sandmeyer reaction, we need to prepare the diazonium salt. So let's prepare it again with the help of HNO2 and in excess of HCl. We get a compound that is benzene diazonium chloride. Now when this benzene diazonium chloride is treated with cuprous salt, that is Cu2Cl2, in the presence of HCl, let's see what do we get. Firstly, nitrogen is liberated, and along with this you would get a compound chlorobenzene. But when I take Cu2Br2 in the presence of HBr, let's see what happens. Now in this case, the first thing what you would get is nitrogen that is liberated, and nextly you would get HCl molecule. Further, again you would get a compound, but now in this case it is bromobenzene. So if in exam question states write about Sandmeyer reaction, then it would be a two-step process. Step 1, what is it? As we are using C2H2, the next step is nothing but the step 1, preparation of benzene diazonium chloride. Second step is nothing but formation of either chlorobenzene or bromobenzene, but yes, in the presence of Cu2Br2. Further, now let's try and understand about catamaran synthesis. Again, we need to prepare benzene diazonium chloride. Now this benzene diazonium chloride, when it is treated in presence of copper powder and HCl, the first thing what you would obtain is nitrogen is liberated, and along with this you get chlorobenzene. If you take copper powder in presence of HBr, then N2 is liberated, HCl is formed along with this, and finally you get a compound that is bromobenzene. Now in this case, students, you need to remember, what are we using? Are we using copper powder? Yes. And therefore this reaction would be called as catamaran reaction. So again, if question comes in your exams, how you would answer it? Catamaran reaction is of two steps. Step 1, preparation of diazonium chloride. Step 2, conversion of diazonium chloride to chlorobenzene or bromobenzene. But in both the cases, here you are using copper powder in HCl or in HBr. The last point to know in this entire reaction is the yield in Sandmeyer's reaction is better than the yield in catamaran reactions. This was all for this module, students. Meet you in the next module. Till then, thank you.